What's now? What's next for the wealth management industry? Well, when I want answers to that, I turn to my smartest friends, joined today by Brian Hamburger from MarketCounsel. Brian, welcome.
Thanks, Matt.
So, what is the big issue that's top of mind for everyone right now?
Everyone keeps talking about inorganic growth and M&A. It seems to be top of mind for so many advisors. Recent Cerulli report that's out says a third of all RIA owners are going to exit the business within the next 10 years. So, whether you want to look at M&A in terms of inorganic growth or you want to look at it in terms of an eventual exit, certainly business transactions are a significant issue for investment advisors today.
And you and I over the years have talked about the exit, the succession that needs to be happening, but the inorganic growth is an interesting option. From the buyer perspective, is right now a buyer's market or a seller's market?
I think it's a market where people are getting more comfortable with transactions. The answer to your question is it depends, right? It depends who is coming to you, right? If someone's coming to you to acquire your business, they're going to say, hey, now's the time, right? Now's the time to sell. But then on the other hand, I think there are plenty of transactions that are being done that show you that, hey, there's a buyer's market to be had. So I think some investment bankers describe the market as frothy. I like that term, right? I think the market it doesn't necessarily have a specific direction. I think we'll see that emerge over time. But part of the problem is these deals are inconsistent. Right, we have some minority deals where folks are buying a small portion of a firm. We have plenty of deals that are a combination of cash, of stock, of potential contingencies based upon the subsequent performance of the business. And so it's really hard to get good market valuations for these businesses.
And it's interesting to me because people are working longer, but for these businesses to really hand off well and for growth to happen right, what's essential in terms of that handoff so that essentially you're getting the most out of the growth and the most out of those clients that are moving from one advisor to the next?
Well, I think that comes down to each advisor, right? Every advisor has to determine for themselves what does that succession or transaction look like. For many advisors, I urge them to go back to the beginnings of their firm, right? Why did you start your firm to begin with? And quite often it was autonomy, right? It was trying to create something that was lasting, that was multi-generational, something where they could involve their next generation of staff, convert their book of business to something of enterprise value. And so the question is, well, what does that next transaction then look like? And for those that plan in advance, the best transaction is one that leaves it in the hands of G2, right, of the next generation of leaders within the firm. It's a way to really maximize wealth, not only for the business owner, but also for that next generation. However, the truth is many advisors don't make plans, well in advance. And as much as they are planners for their clients, right, it's the old shoemaker's shoes, right? They tend to get overlooked.
Mm-hmm. Shifting now from growth to compliance, always a hot topic, always something I love to find out from you. There's always so much noise, sometimes feels like a didgeridoo is playing in the background, but what is the big compliance question, the compliance trend we should be aware of as we head from 2022 and beyond?
Well, I think the biggest trend that we're seeing is that the SEC is finally begun to mobilize, engage in rulemaking, engage in meaningful enforcement, and take a real pro-consumer stance. Now, for RIAs, for independent RIAs, that's not a bad thing, right? It's it's because their interests are so aligned with that of the consumers. But they do have to be mindful that we're dealing with an SEC who's on the path, right? They are going to be working towards ensuring that advisors are minding their conflicts of interest, that they're disclosing them appropriately, avoiding them, when possible. And there's been a little bit of creep in the industry, right? We have advisors who, over the years, because we've had an SEC that may have not been as vigilant, they've let some of this stuff go, right? So they've crept into receiving compensation or having other benefits that are coming in, maybe unnecessarily, or if they are necessary, maybe not disclosing them appropriately to clients. So I think for advisors, there's not any one thing that they really need to be afraid of. It's really a holistic message that you got to make sure you're minding your obligations as an investment advisor. You got to make sure that we're dealing specifically with conflicts of interest really well. And supervision is an emerging issue for a lot of advisors that are scaling their business and growing.
Absolutely. Brian, such great insights. Always great to chat with you, my friend.
It's always fun to be here, my friend.
Appreciate it. Hey, for Advisorpedia, I'm Matt Ackerman.